All right, looks like we're live, ladies and gentlemen, and I am the only one here. Well, I guess that makes sense because I'm the guy who has to do this, and a lot of people who are going to watch this are going to watch this later. But I do want to let you know that I've got slides for this presentation, and I have included those slides in the links, and people who come into the chat room later are going to be referring to those slides. I'm your host, Leif Bieberson, and I'm just going to hang out here for a little bit until we get a couple of people. I know that there's going to be some people that are going to be joining us here in like 2 or 3 minutes, but when they do, we will start the formal presentation. As it is right now, I'm going to put on some music, and we're just going to hang out until things get started and we get rocking and rolling in there. So why don't we put on a little rap music right now? We can just chill, have a nice little vibe before we talk about how you can get on TV. Get on TV, bitches. What kind of music should we play? Let's see, a little Snoop. Snoop's gone reggae these days, so I gotta go to my buddy T.I. That's my favorite rapper. Who's your favorite rapper? Oh, these are Toots and the Maytals. That's a reggae. That's an old school reggae. I found out about Toots and the Maytals. These guys from Sublime. Well, hopefully we're going to get some people in here soon. If not, I guess it doesn't matter because a lot of people are going to be watching the recording of it later. Yeah, there's my boy.
Yeah. Hey. I real talk true shit. All the fucking bad bitches. I don't want no mediocre. Don't want no mediocre. I don't want no mediocre. No bad bitches only. Ain't no mediocre. No, don't want no mediocre. I won't get no mediocre. You a bad bitch. Standing on a mediocre. Oh, on a mediocre. You stand on a mediocre. 7 big bitches with me and they're all mediocre. From their head to their tongue. They so hard mediocre. Right hand in the air. Solid swell. I never fuck a bitch. She don't do her hair no more. You don't get no dick if it's a push down there. Girl, I should see nothing but pussy when I look down there. He comes forward with a nigga, what better to do? He call me that shit, how you do it? Tell him better than you. Yeah, I'm kick back with 4 pieces like a Kit Kat. Me fucking if you ain't a dime, you forget that. Face fat ass, she don't have.
All right, looks like we're starting to get some people in. That's good. Open up a Q&A if people want. All right, so let me include the slides here for you guys, the lurkers. All right. Slide share right there. Make sure you guys get those slides because we're going to be referring to those slides during the presentation. We'll get started in 2 minutes. Make sure you get those slides, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen them. All right, so 7:03, 2 more minutes. We're going to get started. We'll allow people to trickle in. Make sure you get the slides. Again. I'm the type of nigga split a meal with a bitch. Hold up, only if she bad. I ain't trying to find someone that better than my land. Take her to my castle, drown her in my cat. Say yo, just a little, she can fit it in her ass. Told me she can't ride this shit no further than I can. Said I got that donkey, she wanna be my tutor. So she give me rain, yeah, on the scooter. Sits on the beach, from Bermuda to Cuba. I put a lot of time, but I'm looking for a cute bitch. Cute shit, what she said, but she got to sit. When I ain't around, give a damn, he do it. Super big, pretty face. Menage and take 20 at the same time. Wanna get your right thing. Bad bitches, I don't want no mediocre. Don't want no mediocre. I don't want no mediocre. No bad bitches only. Ain't no mediocre. No, don't want no mediocre. I won't need no mediocre. You a bad bitch. Nothing on a mediocre. All right, 1 more minute until we get started. Make sure again that you got the slides. We're going to be talking about the politics of winning tonight, how to get on TV and look hot when you're on.
I put on
7:05, looks like we are go. And we're going to go ahead and start the presentation. I'm going to kill the music. Great. Okay. All right, so let's begin. I'm your host, Austin Petersen, and on today's show, we are going to be talking about the politics of winning, how to get on TV, and look hot when you are on. So if you guys want to learn about how to get on television, I'm going to give you some fantastic tips, some great advice that you will need so that you guys can rock the television people's socks off. Take off my sunglasses now so I can see you guys. You can see my beautiful brown eyes. We're going to be talking tonight about how to get on TV, number one. We're going to talk about the booking process, what is a producer, the elements of television. And then we're also going to be talking about once you're on television, how do you act when you're on TV, which is actually the really hard part. It's one thing to get booked on TV, and then it's another thing to be like, oh, hey, once I get on, you're terrified. How do I act? And, if you know me, if you know your buddy Leif Bieberson, then you guys, you've probably seen some of my appearances. I've gotten better over the last couple of years, and the quality of your performance will get better. It's going to take just a lot of experience. So people are asking, where's the link to the slides? The slides are linked in the invitation. If you guys are having problems getting it, I just shared it on the public page, but it's also in the Google Hangout. There's a group chat on the side there that I've opened up so that you guys can go ahead and do what you'd like to do to get in there and open up those slides. I've posted it in the public page. I've also posted it. If you go to facebook.com/producerpetersen, I've also posted the link to the slide in a comment saying, hey, come join us. So if you're here and you can see us, yeah, there's 9 viewers. So if you guys are having problems getting the slides, you can go to facebook.com/producerpetersen. It's in the comments there. It's also on the public page. I've got 2 monitors, so if you see me going back and forth between the 2 things right there, I'm looking at my slides and referring to those. So let's get started. How to get on TV. First of all, tweet this talk. If you guys are enjoying it, then do me a favor and tweet me at the producer14. That's at THE_producer14. That's me, Austin Petersen. And don't forget to like my pages. And I'm the editor of the Libertarian Republic and the website Liberty Viral, which you guys, I need you to like me on Facebook and do that. I would really appreciate it. And also, the reason that I do this chat, I give away this content for free, not only do I have an interest in spreading the message of liberty, getting more people involved, helping you guys get good information, but I'm also looking for clients. So I do consulting, television type consulting. I do photography for a lot of people. And my website is stonegatellc.com. So if you go to Stonegate, STONEGAIT, that's Stonegate. Let me show you my business card. Whip that out right there. It's my old FreedomWorks business card there. But you go to Stonegate, that's backwards. Stonegate LLC, GAIT, StonegateLLC.com. You can find a list of the services that I offer. I can produce your website for you, produce videos for you, and I can also do straightforward consulting on helping you get better on camera. But let's go ahead and get the presentation started. So if you're wondering how to win, let's go to the first slide. This is slide 2 out of 10. You can see the Patriot there, a couple of Tea Party boys. A lot of people ask me these questions. Austin, how do I get on TV? What do I need to do? How do I get started? And a lot of people, they come to me for advice about things like this. And everybody's sort of at a different place in their career. Some people have never been on television before. Some people have had a little bit of experience when they come to me and they're like, oh, Austin, here's a few appearances I've had. Here's can you make a demo reel for me? Or some people like, I've done nothing, where do I start from square one? So tonight we're going to talk, I'm going to give you some tips for absolute beginners and for some people that are maybe even at the mid-level of their career so that you guys can get some good advice too. I know a good buddy of mine, Jan Helfeld, I call him the professional congressional debunker. He's probably out there right now watching. But I've been able to give him some good tips and advice for how to up his game, and we've had a good working relationship there too. All right, so let's go on. Moving on. Wondering how to win. Number 3. Well, let's ask, first of all, my background is in television news. So what does a news producer do, right? So a lot of people have no idea what a producer does. They're like, a producer does everything. Well, a producer does. I mean, you could be a booker where you book celebrity talent. You could do, you could write the banners at the bottom of the page. But a producer basically coordinates all the aspects of production, whether it's a movie or whether it's a television show. A producer's job is to, perhaps a casting producer will book the talent. They will also coordinate their cars and arrive, make sure that the talent arrives on time. We come in early in the morning. We're the ones who pitch the stories. So, when I used to work for Judge Napolitano as a producer for Freedom Watch back in New York, a lot of what I would do is I would come in the morning and I would have an idea for a story, and I would say, hey, this is a great idea. Let's do the story. Boom. So that's one thing that the producers do. We're also responsible for booking guests, and we are responsible for building the packets. So we, whenever the judge would have to be on, we would create an informational packet, a lot of questions and things like that for him to ask his guests, information about the topic, a lot of research and things like that. So this is the kind of work that news producers do. So the more you understand about what news producers do, the better your chances are going to be able to get on TV. Also, live television, we deal with satellites. And usually every major news organization will, if every major city will have a satellite. So if you're in Kansas City, or whether you're in New York or LA, Fox News or any other major affiliate is going to have either their own satellite company that they own, or they're going to rent satellite companies. So let's say that you're part of a big news story for whatever reason. And Fox is like, well, we can't fly you obviously right now. We want to have you on the show. Let's say you're in Kansas City. Well, they'll probably book a studio, a local studio, and you might be on television that evening at the local studio that they've rented. And then the producer will be the person who will book that studio and coordinate your travel to that studio, coordinate your makeup artist, and make sure that everything is ready for you to be a guest on that evening's broadcast. Another thing that they'll do is they're going to be the ones who work with graphics to create charts and polls. So if you see any graphics up on the screen when you're watching television news, like right up here, you can see my poster is up here. A lot of times graphics will come, they'll appear up there like a bio. And I've actually got a really good story for you, which you guys, if you're libertarians, you're really going to enjoy. So one time we had on Rick Santorum on the show, right? And I'm kind of a troublemaker, right? No, I'm not a bad guy, but I'm a troublemaker. Make trouble for the bad guys. I'm a good troublemaker. We had Rick Santorum on the show, and well, I couldn't do anything like straight to him, right? The judge wasn't going to ask him any like crazy questions. He wanted to keep it straight, but we had his banner on the side, right, where I could write his bio. And what did I do? But I just very innocently put Google Santorum in the bio. And if you know what Google Santorum is, you get the joke. I mean, oh my God. So nothing happened that night, right? Broadcast goes off as normal. The next morning, my executive producer, Austin, get in here. And I'm like, I'm going to get fired. Thankfully, I did not get fired. And I kept my job. But a news producer will also be the person who is responsible for creating graphics that appear on the side of the screen and at the bottom of the screen. So when you see something written across the bottom of the screen, a news producer will put that across the bottom of the screen. And in the business, we call those banners or chyrons. So if you ever get on TV and you want to sound smart and use the terminology with them, say, oh yeah, what is my chyron going to say? Because they'll say your name, Austin Petersen. I'm going to be on the John Stossel show next week. It'll say Austin Petersen, editor of the libertarianrepublic.com. And that's called a chyron. And that's what we call that in the industry. And again, if you haven't got the slides, there is a slide presentation that I'm referring to. Make sure you go to the invite page and click on the link to the slides. I've also linked that at facebook.com/producer Petersen, and I've linked that in the comments there. So make sure that you guys get a copy of those slides, because that's what I'm referring to right now. I'm on page 3 of 10 in the slide presentation, and I'm talking about graphics. So yeah, so we'll create graphics. News producers will create graphics that go on the side of this page. They'll also create your banner at the bottom of the page. If something's misspelled at the bottom of the page, that's usually the producer's fault, right? So whoever produced that segment, if there's something screwed up at it, that's their fault. So that's who you would talk to. Make sure that they spell your name right. My name, nobody ever spells my name right. I have to go be on TV 3 or 4 times before they'll finally figure out my last name is S-E-N. So make sure to talk to your producer if you ever get booked for TV so that they spell your name properly. Tell them, hey, make sure the chyron spells my name right, and they'll think you're cool. And what else does a news producer do? This is the toughest part of the job. You got to balance the talent and the creative personalities of the show with the technical staff, right? So not only do I have to keep my talent happy as a news producer, my superstar who's keeping the money flowing because everybody wants to see the talent, right? But I'm also balancing the technical staff, making sure that the satellites are going. So if I've got a television news broadcast that night as a news producer, I am responsible for making sure my talent is happy and that everything technically is happening. The producer handles all aspects of production, all right? Okay, so moving on. Slide number 4, you can see there, that's Freedom Watch. And that's the control room. That's what it looks like. You can see the slide. Take a look at the slides. You can see the control room. That was the day that Ron Paul announced his candidacy for president in 2012. And here's a funny story about that. It's really cool. So there I am. That's my executive producer at the bottom. You can see Gary Schreier at the bottom of that slide. That's him. And he's actually CNBC executive producer right now. Great man. Wonderful man. And Jenna Binkley, our senior producer down there. And there you can see my packet that I made because I was always the #1 producer of all the A1 segments because I was the hardcore radical guy, the judge that would pick to do that stuff. But that was the Ron Paul interview, Revolution, Freedom Watch. And you know what I did that day? And this is how producers can, I wouldn't say manipulate the news, but I knew all the Ron Paulers that were there that day when he was announcing for president, right? So I want a good shot. I want a beautiful shot so that when Ron Paul says, I'm running for president of the United States, and everybody goes, yay, I managed to coordinate with people on the ground so that the talent was all standing behind Ron, so that when we had a camera shot, it was a huge crowd, right? And that's sometimes what we do in the news and media business to sort of, weave the narrative, we like to call it. That's what we say. We don't manipulate. We don't control. We weave the narrative in the news business. And that's how we kind of control the news. Moving on. So here's your job, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you have to do. If you want to get on TV, you got to learn how to get in the rundown. How do you get in the rundown, which is the breakdown, the minute by minute, line by line. There's a line producer, and we actually have an Excel spreadsheet, line by line. This graphic here, name of the guest, all this information in a long spreadsheet. That's called the rundown. And how do you get in the rundown? You got to understand that producers, news producers, the people that might book you for a show, those people are going to arrive about 8 to 12 hours ahead of the broadcast. Now, you got to know if it's a live show, then 8 to 12 hours before whatever the time is. So, 5 p.m., 8 hours before that, or 12 hours before that sometimes. If it's not a live show, if it's recorded, you got to figure out somehow what time they record the show, what time they tape the show. And then you can figure out when they're going to be there. And here's the thing. If you try and call a news producer 5 minutes before the show starts, you're not going to get an answer. The news producers are way too busy. They're not going to be able to answer the phone and talk to you jibba jabba 5 minutes before the show. We're scrambling. We're trying to figure out, are they going to make it to satellite on time? News producers are very busy people. But the least busy we are at is when we first arrive at the studio 8 to 12 hours before the taping of the show. So if you can find out when the news producer first gets in and you can hit them with a pitch, a storyline, and usually you're going to want to pitch yourself, right? You're like, I have got to talk about this on the news. This is very important, and I'm an expert on this, and I can talk about it. So you want to know what time they arrive so that you can get in the rundown. Usually each show, if it's an hour-long show, there's going to be 6 segments to the show. Can you plug into one? Next week I'll be on the John Stossel show. I think I'll be in maybe 2 or 3 segments responding to the President's State of the Union. And then there'll be 4 or 5 other segments that I won't be featured in. They'll have other featured guests. And you got to understand, as a news producer, again, we're very busy, and so it's very important for you to know what the best time to call is. What time does a producer get in? Remember, it's 8 to 12. It's 8 to 12 hours before the show tapes. So knowing this, make sure that you call before, way before the show is being taped, because when I first arrived at the studio or when I first arrived at the office before I'm producing a show, I'm looking for stories, right? I want to pitch stories. Usually I'll bring stories in as a producer, but sometimes I don't have any stories. And if I don't have any stories, then if you call me with a story, maybe I'm going to book you and use your story. But understanding this, and again, let me reiterate for the people that are just arriving. I see we've got some new arrivers to the show. Then please, please, please get the slides, which I've linked in the group chat on the side there. You can go ahead and get in there to the group chat, or you can go to facebook.com/producer Petersen. Get the slide. The slideshow is called "The Politics of Winning." And that's what I'm referring to. I'm on number 5 right now, 5 of 10, talking about how to get in the rundown. So we're talking about what's your schedule, best time to call. Best time to call, obviously 8 to 12 hours beforehand. And if I don't have any stories, maybe you call me at the right time and it's like, hey, I got a great story for you. I got some hot news. I've got a new candidate that I'm trying to plug. Maybe you're a communications director for a candidate who's running for office, and you're trying to get them booked on TV. Well, call and maybe, pitch them to the producer. But just make sure that you call not when they're taping, not an hour before they're taping, not 2 hours before they're taping because the show's already done. Call 8 to 12 hours beforehand. Very important. Producers are busy. You call me on the phone. What was it? Neil Cavuto, actually, he gives a little training course for all Fox News producers. And his first rule to new producers is, if someone calls you to book themselves or to pitch themselves or to pitch a story, and if you're on the phone with them and they're boring on the phone, they're probably going to be a boring guest. So what do? Hang up. Hang up. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that. I used to have so many people calling me at Fox saying, oh, Austin, I got a great story for you. And they would take forever. And I'd just be like, I want to be nice, right? So I'm always like, trying to be nice, but I can't be nice. I got a show to book. I got to do my show. I got a million things. I've got to enter banners. I've got to create chyrons. I've got to Google Santorum, So I've got a ton of stuff that I've got to do. And you have to be respectful of the producer's time. If you want to get on TV, understand how the process works, and that will give you the edge, the leg up. So, like Neil Cavuto said, if they're boring, hang up. Don't be boring. Have your elevator pitch, your bullet points of what you want to say. What do you want to talk about? What's your story? What's your angle? What's the hook? Why is this interesting? Okay. Now, there will come a time when you're a big, famous TV star and people are just going to book you because, you've got a fan base and you're going to be on, right? Because you're famous and whatever. At that point, it's great. But, for me now, I'm just getting to the point now where people like Stossel and Sun News Network in Toronto and stuff are calling me and saying, hey, do you want to be on for this? You know what I mean? That's just now happening, right? And I'm at the mid-level of my career. But if you're just starting out, you're going to have to understand that you're going to have to go through the slog. You're going to have to pitch yourself. You're going to have to book yourself. And you're going to have to work hard to get those opportunities because nobody's going to hand it to you. Television, I'll tell you, man, when I went for the job at Fox, the judge was like, he's the first person getting hired. But the vice president of Fox Business was like, this kid's never worked in TV before. We don't want to hire him. Screw him, blah, blah, blah. And I sat through an interview where he was just haranguing me, like asking me all these questions. The television industry is all about keeping you out. Keeping you out. I'm telling you secrets that the television industry doesn't want you to know right now, okay? Because nobody wants competition. Nobody likes competition. But I have a higher calling. Leif Bieberson is here to spread liberty, and I want all you little Biebertarians, you skeptical libertarians, to get this information so that you can get out there and you can spread the message of liberty too. So, we're on slide 5 of 10. If you haven't got the slides, go to slideshare.com. It's called The Politics of Winning. It's also on my Facebook page, /producer Petersen. Get the slides, people. You can go to my Facebook page and chat with all the jibber jabber with all your little friends there. And here's a great way to get yourself booked. Do you have a video of yourself? Have you ever been on TV before? If not, shoot yourself doing a nice video. And again, I'll plug my services again for Stonegate. I've gotten talent jobs with CNBC and with Fox, people who have come to me saying, hey, Austin, shoot a video of me. I think I'd be good on TV. And so, I'll charge them a certain fee and produce a video of them, and then they'll take it and send it to the networks, and the networks are like, boom, that's amazing, hot talent. But you're going to want to take a video, and if you're pitching yourself to a news producer and you send a video of yourself, then there's a better chance you're going to get booked. Why? The first thing that my executive producer would always ask whenever I would try and pitch new talent, which they do not like. They do not like new talent. They don't want new talent. No, already established people. Why? Because usually new people suck. And I actually made some big mistakes when I first started by booking people that I thought were good stories, but they didn't make for good television. So the executive producer would ask for a video of the talent to see if they could talk, right? And so it's important, if you don't have a video of yourself, get one made where you're just talking about issues or something like that. And again, Stonegate, my company, can produce one for you, or I'm sure some other one can do it. And I've successfully helped many people get on television. And some people now have, one of my good friends has launched her career at CNBC. She's now a contributor at CNBC. And it started with her coming to me, asking for consulting services, producing a video, and now she's a big time CNBC star. Moving on, we're out of beer here. I might have to get another one. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Send a pitch email with a photo, right? If you're a hot girl, it's going to be a lot easier for you to get on TV than a scraggly guy like me, right? A guy with the lines, the forehead, maybe the hair is a little bit down there, you know what I mean? I got to work for it. Female privilege, I mean, I got so many hot girlfriends that are all like on Fox now and stuff like that like they came in way after me, and they're getting handed to it because they look good. And if you look good, send a picture of yourself in the email. But here's the secret too: do not send a picture of yourself that is huge, right? So because of security reasons, most major news networks, they keep all their emails in-house. They don't use cloud like Gmail or something, right? So if you send a huge picture, like an enormous headshot that's like 20 megs or something like that, 25 megs, a raw file for God's sakes, which people have done, then it blows out my email inbox, and I'm going to hate you because you just destroyed my email, and now I can't get emails, right? So send a picture of yourself, but make sure that it's a nice picture that you can see, but it's small enough that you're not going to destroy my email inbox, because producers will hate you, they'll delete it, and you'll never get on TV. Give yourself a title. Cool story, bros. So, a year and a half ago, I quit my job, and I said, I'm a CEO. Yeah. And I even got, and I am a CEO. I own my own small little business. I've been in business for a year and a half. Austin Petersen, Chief Executive Officer, bitches. You know who made me CEO? Me. If you do not have a title, get one. Easy. Start a nonprofit. Start an LLC. Go to LegalZoom.com and register an LLC. It costs you $500 to register, depending on what state you're in, to register your LLC and give yourself the title of whatever your company is, I mean, do not allow other people to control your destiny, ladies and gentlemen. Even if you're an intern or something like that, give yourself a cool name and a cool title, whatever it is, and make it so that you can sound cool on TV. Because, right now my title is CEO of Stonegate LLC and editor of the Libertarian Republic. I mean, that's a pretty cool title. But what am I? I'm like a dude who sits around and blogs, and sometimes I get to go on TV, right? I'm like, I do some consulting and run a small firm, but, I'm not like Mark Cuban or anything. One day though, Cuban, I'll get you. Anyways, so give yourself a title, make up business cards, put your title on it, because that way when you call, you're like, hey, I'm Austin Petersen, Chief Executive Officer of Stonegate LLC, editor of the Libertarian Republic. And people are going to respect you if you have a cool title. So that's a really important tip. That's something you use. And of course, the most important thing on the slide, number 5 of 10, is to try again. A lot of times, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to succeed the first time. You're not always going to win. You can't win every battle. And sometimes the producer's going to hang up on you because you just got him at the wrong time, the wrong day. And it's important to just not give up. You're just going to have to keep trying. I mean, look at me, sometimes I even think about giving up, and here I am, like, some people probably kill to be like, running a successful website and doing all this kind of stuff. But I mean, sometimes I feel like, God, I'm never going to get to the next phase of my career. But you can. You can totally do this. You know, I just got tremendous news last week, actually. Tremendous career news, last week. And now I'm finally, like, on TV, like, 3 times a week thanks to this Canadian network. But you have to keep trying, ladies and gentlemen, and just understand that, like, persistence is key. Not all of us are going to be beautiful blondes with big breasts who are going to be thrilled in front of a camera. Some of us got to earn it. Some of us got a little mole on their face, right? Some of us got these strange, like, big round teeth. Well, you can fix this stuff, but maybe one day when I'm rich, I'll fix it. But you know what? You could dress cool. You can wear a leather jacket. You can have cool hair. You can have a cool watch. There's things that you can do to make yourself cool, and that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Just don't give up. All right, moving on, the next slide. And again, we're number 6 out of 10. These are all pictures that I took, by the way. If you're looking at the slides, that's Sarah Palin and the judge, which is one of my favorite pictures I've ever taken of the judge kissing Sarah Palin's hand. And that's the picture of Ron Paul and the judge when we did an interview with them together when Ron was in New York. And don't get me started on what it took to make this happen, because it almost didn't happen. I mean, news producing is, ladies and gentlemen, kiss a producer if you like your show. But this is what you're going to do. Let's say you got booked. Let's say you finally did it, okay? You've called the producer, you sent him an email, you sent him a picture, you sent him a video, you didn't stop, you tried. Finally now, you've made it. You're on television. And now you got to figure out what you're going to do. How are you going to act? How are you going to behave? Are you going to be nervous and all that stuff? No. Well, yes, it's okay to be nervous, but it's not okay to show it. You're going to be like a duck. A duck looks calm and beautiful on the surface of the water, but underneath it's like paddling like crazy. That's going to be you, perhaps, right? So you're going to memorize your talking points, right? Let's talk about this bullet points that I have. This is slide 6 of 10. First thing that you want to do, energy, right? Now, I'm sitting in a chair right now, right? If I was on television, what do I do, right? Do I sit back on TV like this? Do I go like this? Yeah, Pat. Do I sit back? Or do I lean forward, look right into the camera, and give all of my energy and all of my passion right into that lens? What's the difference between this? Well, you see the Dow Index 500 was raised by 500 today, and they think it's because of that carry and this. Well, the problem with the stock market today is the Federal Reserve is inflating unbelievably at a phenomenal rate. If we have these kinds of problems that we had in 2008, then why wouldn't we have them again? I think the time right now is to end the Federal Reserve System, abolish it by instituting free banking, by abolishing legal tender law. See what I mean? Passion, energy, excitement. And if it's a one-on-one interview, if you're in a studio, you're not on the set, like let's say you're not on the set, right? A lot of times you may get stuck in a box and you're just looking at a camera and the interviewer's in New York and you're in the box in Kansas City, right? So you're going to look right in the camera with passion. But if you're on camera and there's hosts and stuff like that, then it's okay to like move around, look at your host and stuff. But watch me on Stossel next week and you'll see what I do. When he announces me, I look at the camera, smile, nod, look back at the host, right? And that's what you want to do if you're on set. But if you're looking into a camera and talking to your host, all your energy goes into that camera. Now, we're on slide 6 of 10. If you don't have the slides, they're posted publicly on slideshare.net. It's called The Politics of Winning. I'm going to grab another beer and so I can wet my whistle while I continue the rest of the presentation. Make sure you go to slide 6 of 10. Let me grab another beer. I'll be right back for the 2 seconds. The fridge is right there. And we're back. I am wearing pants, as you can see, my Star Wars pants. I sometimes don't wear pants when I'm doing TV. You don't have to if you're doing it over. A lot of my television interviews are right here in my house, in my apartment, and you'll be doing them remotely. But pants optional there. So anyway, so we're on slide 6 of 10, talking about politics of winning, and we are going to look at being outspoken, right? So we're outspoken. I mean, that sort of speaks for itself. You want to be outspoken. You want to make sure that you state your opinion clearly. Be brave. Be bold. You know, one of the mistakes that Ron Paul made when he was in the presidential debates in 2008 was with Anderson Cooper. They were at the Ronald Reagan Library, and he let Anderson Cooper cut him off. Anderson Cooper. You let Anderson Cooper cut him off. Now, it's one thing to let the host cut you off. When you're a guest on a show or something like that, when you're running for president, you know, no, I will be the president, boy. And you listen to me, right? Now, it's okay to treat the other panelists like that. It's not okay to treat your host like that. Ron was being gracious. Ron was being kind. But he would have benefited from, you know, slamming Anderson Cooper down. And you will benefit from slamming your opponents down if you're in a debate, which a lot of times on television, I used to debate Tom Hartman. So it was just one-on-one, and I would go at him. And there was no problem there because he was a commie anyway, and he wasn't going to be nice to me. So why would I be nice to him? He just liked to, you know, battle back and forth. But when it's a good host, a kind host, somebody like John Stossel, someone you want to be gracious to, never, ever, ever cut off your host, okay? But cut off for the other guests. If your time is very, very precious when you're on television. You're going to get maybe 2 30-second spots to actually speak. So a minute. If you're on for a 5-minute segment, the host is going to blab. They all love to hear themselves talk, all the stars. The host is going to have an intro. It's going to last a minute and a half, and then they're going to ask you a question. That's going to take another 30 seconds, and like finally, you know, they just love to hear themselves talk. So humor them, listen to them, and then once they've finished, launch into your tirade. And here's the thing: talk. Just keep talking, and don't stop talking. Right? Just don't stop talking until the host cuts you off. And the reason is, and don't cut off your host, let them cut you off, but you want to give yourself a nice steady stream. Now, if you come to a nice conclusion, you can stop. But otherwise, if you're on set and stuff like that, you usually want to wait because one of the other guests, if you're on a panel, for example, one of the other guests is going to cut you off. But try not to ever, ever, ever cut off your host because they might see it as rude and he might not have you back. But screw the other people on the panel. They're going to want to take your time. It's your television opportunity. It's your experience. Do not let them take your time. So don't monopolize, but jeopardize all of the other panelists' time because, again, they don't care about you. You don't care about them. Your job is to make your point, kick ass, and to be the best guest that you've got, so you'll get that they've got, so you'll get invited back. We're on the slide 6 of 10. Let's move on to slide 7 of 10. Oh boy, there's a lot of stuff here. These are a lot of important points, and I'm happy that I get to share them with you guys now publicly. You know, if you guys have any speaking gigs or arrangements, you know, I do give this talk publicly. So feel free to send to your local Tea Party groups or conservative groups or what have you. I'd love to do these trainings and go all over the country and teach people how to do this stuff. So be more than happy to do so for a small fee. Here's the do's and don'ts of TV. And we had Bill Nye on once. I don't know what we were doing. I think we were debating global warming. We had Bill Nye on there. That was kind of fun. And then there's me and Mike Lee. And I love Mike Lee because Mike is so fantastic. We can talk about anything. And he's a good listener. He would always ask me questions in the green room. He would ask me questions about libertarian issues. Like, what do libertarians think about this? What do libertarians think about that? And then, you know, I learned a lot from him because he's a good, strong constitutionalist. And, you know, he taught me a lot about national defense that I didn't understand even. So, do's and don'ts of TV. Now, this is the one, if you know Steve Horowitz, Professor Steve Horowitz, so he always talks about it. I taught him. Wear a nice, shiny tie if you're a guy. If you're a guy, wear a nice, shiny tie or a bold, colored outfit, right? Nice, bold, colored outfit. Because high definition means that every detail is going to be picked up, right? So every little nook and cranny in your face, everything on your television is going to, okay. Now, as the producer, when I'm in the control room, or if I'm backstage and I see there's going to be 100 monitors of all these different feeds that are coming into Fox that they can pick from a feed to go to at any time. Like this is breaking in Belgium or in Brussels. And if you're on that feed and you've got a beautiful, bright, shiny tie on, gentlemen, my eyes are going to go, boom, right on you. So a beautiful, bright, shiny tie. Bow tie is nice, but you do look a little bit nerdy. No offense to my friend Jeffrey Tucker. I've worn a bow tie a couple times on TV, but it's not my style. I'm more of the leather jacket guy, and shiny tie guy. Wearing a nice shiny tie or a bold colored outfit is a good way to make sure that you catch attention. Roger Ailes, the CEO of Fox News, he's always watching all the time, looking for pretty girls to put on the TV, right? And we'll talk about girls' outfits in a second, but but it's important that you wear a nice shiny tie, bold colored outfit. Do not wear, see this black jacket? Now, I wore it on Tom Hartman once, and I've worn it here and stuff like that, but this is, do not wear all black on TV, right? The reason is because a lot of times the backgrounds will be all black. So you'll look like a floating head, right? And you don't want to wear all white. So do not wear all white and do not wear all black, because black you might disappear, white is going to glow. Because what happens is like I have a stage light on me right now, which you can see see the shadow right there. There's a light coming onto my face right now, and that light is going to, if I had a white shirt on, would reflect and would shine brightly at the camera, and that would not make for a good experience as a viewer. It's like, it's so bright. So don't wear all white and don't wear all black. The only reason why I wore all black on that show once, and it's the one that's a picture of me in my headshot on producer Petersen's page, is because I knew that the background wasn't all black. I knew it was a beautiful, bright blue background, so I could be seen easily. But generally, if you don't know what the set's going to be like, then you don't want to wear all black, and you don't want to wear all white. You want to wear something pretty. Make sure that your patterns aren't too crazy. Houndstooth and stuff like that doesn't look good on camera because it's just too much going on. Paisley's not good. Maybe in a tie, it's okay. But you want to generally go for a nice shiny tie and like a nice suit, you know what I mean? Or a good color, beautiful, a bright colored shirt is good. Maybe not like bright yellow, neon yellow or something like that, but like, you know, a nice bright, maybe a blue or a green, something eye-catching. You know, just don't look dowdy. Don't look brown. You know, don't look like poop. You know what I mean? You want to look nice. Excuse me, beard's making me hiccup. So the politics of winning, we're on slide number 7 of 10, do's and don'ts of TV. Do. Bring your sense of humor, and remember, brevity is the soul of wit, as Shakespeare said. Your sense of humor, meaning like if you're scared and nervous, it's going to show. You know, you need to lighten up. You need to bring some jokes. You know, like if you can make somebody laugh, you're going to get on TV, right? Because TV sucks for the most part, right? Most TV really, really sucks. And if you're on television and you can make jokes and make people laugh, you're going to get booked. I mean, have I made you laugh tonight? Have I made you laugh even a little bit? If so, then it's probably why you're sticking around. The people who are watching this right now, I can see, I don't know if everybody who started here has stayed here. It's sort of stuck around a certain amount of viewers. But if you're funny and you can be on TV and you can make good jokes, you're definitely going to get invited back. I'm pouring more funny down my throat right now. Yeah, and brevity is the soul of wit, meaning keep it brief. If you can make a good, quick, clean joke, really quick, bam, and then, you know, you're going to get booked again, and they're going to love you, the audience is going to love you. That's hard to do. But think about it beforehand when you've got your talking points. What's a good joke that you can bring, you know? Most of the time, good jokes are in the forms of questions, you know? So try and think of a good question that's a joke, you know what I mean, that you can sort of, you know, play up. If you can do humor on television, listen, you're going to be rich, okay? Because that is one of the hardest things to do, is to be funny. And don't let your attacks on opponents mark you as possibly insane. Producers are always on the hunt for crazy. That was the second question. After the first question, my executive producer was, is there a video of them speaking, if they didn't know who it was? The second question was, is this a crazy person, right? There's always these crazy people trying to get on TV. And, you know, if you are crazy, you better hide it. Or you need to don't be crazy, right? I know that if you're attacking an opponent or something like that, just don't be too shrill, perhaps is the word I'm thinking. Don't be too shrill. It's one thing to believe in liberty and to believe in your cause or whatever it is that you believe in. It's another thing to seem like a crazy person. So try not to be shrill. Try not to be like a crazy person. Try not to come off like a crazy person when you are on TV. And because producers are always looking for crazy. So is this a crazy person? And sometimes you put a crazy person on, like Jesse Ventura. You know, you're like, that's nuts, but he makes for good TV because he says crazy stuff. But he's already famous and a wrestler, and so he's already got a celebrity status. So if you're trying to get to Jesse Ventura level, you know, join the Navy SEALs and work your way up like he did. All right, oh, very important. Do consistently publish your point of view on major topics on a daily basis. Listen, if you're writing your topic if you're writing the news every day, if you're writing a story or a blog or an article or whatever on your own website, doesn't matter, how crappy your website is, it's going to make my job so much easier because as a producer, I can just take your point of view that you've already written on your blog and copy it and put it in the packet and give it to the host. So you're doing me a favor if you're already publishing a point of view. Let's say you call a television station to book yourself, and you have published your point. They're like, okay, well, what's your point of view on this? Well, you give them your bullet point real quick, your elevator pitch, and then you shoot your article over there, shoot your news story over there, and they will thank you for that. They will be happy because it's already there. And also, news producers are always looking for stories. I may come across your article and be like, damn, this is interesting, and this is a unique point of view. Oh, wow, and there's a picture of them. Oh, and look, there's a YouTube video of them. Wow, booked. Makes it easy. So, publish your point of view. Listen, do you really want to win? You know what I mean? Like, do you really want to succeed? Then you get up off of your ass and write, okay? Just write. I do it every freaking day. I used to think, oh, it's so hard to write. Now I publish 14 stories a day. I mean, I got to do it to make money, but I mean, you can write, okay? You can write. And I used to publish 2 or 3 stories a day back when I still had a full-time job and, a sex life. No, but did I make you laugh? Did I make you laugh? Oh, then you're going to stick around. Publish your point of view. Write. Just write. Just whatever you do, just write. Publish it out there. And if you're, hey, by the way, I accept submissions all the time to the Libertarian Republic. If you're interested in being a writer of the Libertarian Republic, send me that. Right? Don't wear an outfit that's out of character for you. Here's an interesting story. When I was in New York producing for Fox, Occupy Wall Street was going on. So I went down to Occupy Wall Street with my buddy Ed Krieski, and we met this young kid who was saying, and the Fed, he was talking about the gold standard and stuff, and we're like, oh, who is this kid? He's awesome, and he's all like punk, and he looks cool. He was an Occupy Wall Street guy who was preaching for Ron Paul. So, of course, I booked the guy. He shows up to the studio, and he's wearing a suit. And I was like, yeah, I know I told you to wear a suit earlier, but I mean, when I booked this guy, he was like radical, cool, young kid, Occupy Wall Street, supporting Ron Paul. So it was out of character for him. He was nervous, and it made for not a very good interview, but he was a good kid, and, he did all right. But it was a bad booking, and it was my fault because he was too young. And when he showed up, he screwed up because he just didn't wear the outfit that was his character. If you're an Occupy Wall Streeter, dress like it. If you're a Tea Partier, dress like it. Costumes are fun, and so, when you're going to be on TV, don't just wear whatever crap you throw on that day. Think about what you're going to wear. Think about it. It's very important. And we're on slide 7 out of 10, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you've got the slides. It's called The Politics of Winning. Again, it's on my Facebook page. Please repeating it. Petersen, I'm going to repeat this ad nauseum throughout this talk. Do follow up with the producer the day of the interview to confirm everything is a go. Sometimes, as producers, we got so much crap going on, we may cancel you or cancel your segment and not even call you and tell you, and then you show up and it's like, sorry, dude. And that actually happened to me a couple of times. I did screw up while I was learning the ropes. It happens. It happens even to seasoned producers. But make sure the day of your interview that you call the producer and confirm that everything is a go. Finalize any details. Sometimes breaking news happens that changes the story. So you need to know what the story is going to be because it changes. My buddy Ryan Carrillo, who may be watching the show right now, he's the producer who books me for Sun News Network. Today, he's like, Austin, we're going to talk about ISIS and Boko Haram. And he sent me the news hook. I was like, okay, yeah, is this the angle and stuff that you're taking? And then 5 minutes later, he's like, oh, no, it's the wrong angle. So I was like, oh, man, I would have done all this research to talk about this one topic, and I would not have been ready. So if you're on TV and you're booked, call the day that you're booked and make sure that you confirm that everything's a go and you've got the right angle. Don't. Oh, my God. Do not ever arrive late, okay? Do you realize how expensive television is? How much money and time it takes to book a 30-minute satellite window
that I could open up so that I could have you on air, the privilege that you are on television, that we are spending at least $3,000 to $5,000 just so you can be there. And that's a minimum. We're not talking about the salaries of all the technicians and everybody that's taking all the control room and everybody to make it there. No, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm talking about just about booking a studio. And if you show up late, we have a window. Like when the satellite comes in, 30 minutes. That's all we got. We booked that 30 minutes. And if you're late showing up to the studio, dude, I'm going to hate you. The news producers are going to hate you. Do not ever arrive late to the studio. You will never be invited again after that. I'll tell you what. And Ryan can tell you if he's here. So another one. Don't send the producer your point of view on a major topic right when they arrive at the station for their shift, so you're the first thing in their mind. That makes sense. So like I said at the beginning of this talk, they're 8 to 12 hours before the show tapes. Send them your point of view on the topic. That makes it easy for them. They can put it in the packet that they then give to the star of the show. So you're making their job easy, and that's the kind of thing that's going to get you invited back. It's going to get you invited back. So just before, I'll say it again, don't send them large attachments. Do not send the television producer large attachments in emails or emails in all caps. I mean, come on, really? Like, this is 2015. You know not to write in all caps? You should know. If you don't, then please turn off the internet and go be old. Okay? Just go be old somewhere because we ain't got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Don't write all caps. We think you're crazy. You know this. You know this. And don't send in a large attachment. If you send me your PDF resume, or you send an actual video file that's like a gig of your demo reel, or whatever, some crap, you're going to blow out my email inbox. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'll hate you forever. I'll delete it. Do manage your online profile. Do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen, while you're listening to my beautiful voice, go to www.austinpetersen.com. That's AustinPetersen.com. Why? Why go to austinpetersen.com? Because there is my bio. There is my CV. There is my resume. A news producer is going to love you if they can go to your website, send their website to the executive producer, send it to the talent. There's all the information that you need to know about you. If you don't own your name, if you don't own TiffanyMadison.com, if you don't own RyanCarillo.com, go buy it, guys. Go buy the website. What the hell is wrong with you? You need your bio website. And maybe that's where you're going to blog. Maybe it isn't. But at the very least, if you go to austinpetersen.com, you can see my bio. You can see my work. You can see the news of what's happening. Very easy. It costs me $20 a month, ladies and gentlemen. It's not that expensive. It's not that hard. Having your own website like that is going to help you get more bookings. Remember, if you're unknown, but you have a huge amount of Facebook and Twitter followers, it will lend you credibility. We, in the television news business, all we care about is ratings, right? Ratings. And if you're an unknown person, but you have a huge Twitter account or a huge social media account, you might get booked just because they're like, well, I know they're going to tweet this to their fans. I know they're going to be good on TV. And even though they're an unknown, this is probably what's happening to me right now with Toronto, right? I mean, I'm sure Pat Ballin, the host of the Sun News Network, what's the show called? Brian, he's going to kill me because I don't know off the top of my head. Real Talk, Prime Time, something straight talk with Pat Ballin. They know that I've got a big social media following, right? So if you cultivate that, they may be booking me in part because they know that I'm going to tweet this to 500,000 people, let them know that it'll be on, and I'm going to get more people to watch their show. And so if you can do that, if you can build a good social media following, producers will look at that and say, hey, this is credible. This is good stuff. That's actually a really important thing that you can do to try and start elevating your profile. And also, hey, if you're taking my advice and you're publishing your stories every day, your news, what are you going to do? You're going to share it on your social network, right? That's what I'm doing right now, ladies and gentlemen. In 5 years and 10 years, when I knocked off Bill O'Reilly and I'm the new Sean Hannity, you're all going to know that this is how I did it, right? And you were there today, and I said that I did it, and I done it. And you're going to do it, and then you're going to knock me off, and it'll be the No More Leaf Bieberson show. It'll be the Ryan Carillo report. It'll be the Tiffany Madison, Monopolies, show. I don't know. I couldn't find a good thing to alliterate that way. Don't seem desperate. Oh man, I tell you what, that is hard. When you are desperate, especially, you don't want to seem desperate. The psychology should be, and this applies to a lot of things. The psychology should be that the news producer, that the television news network, or the show, or whatever, they need you more than you need them, right? Think about that, right? Nobody likes somebody who's asking, please, please, can you put me on TV? No, 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 no. Nobody likes that. No. I was like, listen, I have something valuable. I have an important, incredible point of view. I have an interesting, exciting point of view, and it's critical. It's very important that your viewers hear it. If you don't want it, fine. But I mean, I'm going to take it to another network. I'm going to go to MSNBC or whatever, blah, 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 the competitors. But don't seem desperate. You know, just, you know, if they don't want to book you, fine. It's good, because I've got a million other things to do. Even if you're like, hungry and cold and starving and trying to make rent, you know, don't seem like that. You can't do that, because nobody likes people who are desperate. It's always kind of like, you know what I mean? Everybody knows there's that one kid who's always like, oh, please, sir, please, can I have some more? You know, can I have a beer? Nobody likes that guy. Nobody likes that guy. Those guys, not cool. Don't seem desperate. And if you're a libertarian activist, don't threaten to protest outside the studio because they didn't get raw paw airtime. If you don't get coverage, if you're not part of the story, that's probably your fault, right? You have to be the story. You have to be the story. Insert yourself into the narrative. You have to become a part of the story. If you're not part of the story, it's probably your fault. There's no conspiracy to black you out and stuff like that. You're just not that interesting, most likely. And that sucks. But that's the truth. You know, there is no mainstream media conspiracy. There really isn't. I mean, it's so hard to explain this to people who have not worked in the television industry, because everybody thinks that they're being biased against. Maybe one show doesn't like you. Maybe Hannity won't like, you know, certain people. Hannity does like Rand Paul, which is funny because he's like a big Karl Rove guy. Somehow we've managed to insert that establishment variance and get him into the establishment's good graces. But there are going to be shows that don't like Rand, you know, but every show at MSNBC, for example. So maybe that is a conspiracy. But don't threaten to protest outside the studio. Don't be idiots. If you are not part of the story, it's your fault, because you're not doing anything interesting. You're not making yourself part of the story. You're not publishing the news every single day. You're not making yourself part of the story. Critical, important. Moving on. Ah, yes. This is always my favorite part of this talk. Slide 8 of 10. This is on SlideShare. Politics of winning. Get it? Slideshare.net. Politics of winning. It's on my Facebook page. Producer Petersen. Go to slide number 8 out of 10. That's another one of my favorite pictures. Me and Todd CV. Oh no, that's me and Monica Crowley, and that's me and that's Sarah Palin and Todd CV, who's a producer and writer on Freedom Watch. Wonderful guy. She looks like she's wax figure, right? She doesn't look real. Trust me, she looks hot in person. Sarah Palin is hot, and she's also awesome. So haters gonna hate, and ain'ters gonna hate us because they ain't us. Like, not anus, ain't us. Anyway, so how do you take a good photo, right? So let's say you want to take a headshot and you want to get on TV, so you need to take a good picture. But if you're, this also applies to being on TV. Here's the thing. What's the difference? There's a camera right now that is recording it, okay? What's the difference between this and this? Right? It's a big difference, right? So if you took a screenshot right now and now, it's totally different, right? So when you take a picture, you know, a camera is just multiple pictures in a row. You want to do this. Here's the thing. I know this is gonna seem silly, but this is how you do it. Take a good picture. So the camera is right here, right above my webcam, and look what I'm gonna do right here. Look at this. Watch me do this, right? Watch this. Now it feels weird, right? But watch what I'm doing here on the side. Look at this. Okay. Now, it looks weird, right? It looks strange from the side. But when I look at the camera, it looks natural, okay? So I take a good picture because I know that if I stick my chin out, put it down, and look up at the camera, I'm creating a nice line. But if I go like this, I look like crap. And probably all 13 of you, or how many people are watching this, just screen grab me and are going to make fun of me. You know, good for you. But if you want to take a good picture, stick your chin out, put it down, looking up at the camera. Nice little slide angle. And I've got a dimple, so I make use of it. No dimple here. This is my good side. Look at the camera. Smile, smile. Okay, we're going long here. I want to move on. So stick your chin out. Remember, lighting comes from the front. If you're taking a picture and the light's coming from behind you, they're like the sun is back here, or there's like, windows back here, lights coming from behind you. They're not going to be, picture won't come out. Pictures, the light comes from the front. Always make sure the light's coming from the front. Stick your chin out. Using a tripod is also good to hold a camera still. Moving on, number 9. Slide number 10, not number 9. And I'm going to blaze through this because I've been going long. Make sure your videos, if you're going to do a video for yourself, if you don't want to hire Stonegate LLC, my company, which I suggest you do, then you can make your own video, make sure that it's nice and well lit, there's plenty of light in your face, you have a light here. Ideally, I would have lights over here, and I would be in a studio, and there'd be tons of lights, and it would be beautiful, but whatever, I'm just a mid-level dude trying to make it in this harsh world. But good audio. Actually, it's funny, audiences will forgive you if like your video is crappy. But they won't forgive you if your audio sucks, because no one can stand like annoying sounds. It's one thing for something to look weird, that doesn't quite offend you as much, but when you're offending someone's hearing, that's not good. So if you're going to make a video and your audio sucks and there's wind blowing everywhere, you've got to make sure that your audio is correct. Your audio is good. Make sure that you write a strong script, nice, tight, clean. When you say your lines, read them clearly. A strong headline for the video. Catchy headlines are good. I could talk for hours on just how to write a good headline. If you've read the Libertarian Republic, you know I'm pretty good at that. A background. Ooh, I'm breaking that rule right now. So it's kind of a crappy background, but that's just because of the way my apartment's set up. I was going to do this downstairs in like the illustrious studio, so somebody had already booked it. But a good background is one that's interesting, but not too busy. Not just a blank wall, such as the one that I have right now, which kind of sucks. But the key is to have maybe a nice faded out background, like a nice colored background, something going on, maybe not too busy. But a good background makes it for an interesting picture. Remember, video is just pictures. So when you're making videos, if you're going to make a video of yourself to send to producers to book yourself on TV, make sure you have a nice, interesting background, nothing too busy and nothing too boring. So this is a boring background. Maybe I should have this is a little more interesting because I've got my poster here and I've got a nice picture. But this is a little more boring. That's my donuts. No donuts in the frame. All right, give yourself a strong wardrobe. Like I said, dress nicely. Always dress professional, but dress your character. Strong performance. A commitment to professionalism. Anybody who's ever worked with me will always say he's a true professional. I may be a troublemaker. I may be a radical, but I'm always a pro. And always maintain consistency and diligence throughout the production. So from start to finish, consistency, diligence, and that is the key. Number 10, slide 10. That's it. Looks like that's the slide. So that's it, the politics of winning. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have questions about this talk, if you want to send more questions, you have things that you want to ask me, of course, you can always contact me. You know how busy I am on Facebook. That's where I make most of my money from clicks, links. Do not forget, go to stonegatellc.com if you're interested in hiring me for my services. I am a contractor for hire, hired gun, mercenary, libertarian, Leif Bieberson. And do me a favor, if you enjoyed this talk, share it with your friends. It'll be up online here. I'll share it out on my Facebook page, of course, this evening, and share it with people that you think might be interested in it. This is the end of the talk. I see you guys trickling, you're leaving. But do me a favor, subscribe to my Facebook pages, The Libertarian Republic, Liberty Viral. Maybe you've heard my podcast, The Freedom Report podcast. It's on iTunes. If you don't have an Apple device, it's also on Stitcher, which is an Android device. The Freedom Report, 6.7 million downloads last year. I mean, wow, unbelievable. Maybe some of you guys are listeners. If you're not, subscribe to my podcast. And if you enjoy the show, please give me 5 stars. A 5-star review on iTunes helps me immensely to keep doing what I'm doing right now, spreading the message of economic freedom and personal liberty at thelibertarianrepublic.com. I hope you guys enjoyed this talk. Leave me some comments. Tell me what you thought over at facebook.com, Producer Peterson. I'll see you there. And now it's time for me to break out the scotch after this beer. Scotch, scotch, scotch. I love scotch. Oh, yes, I love scotch. Whoa. Bye, guys.